Congratulations to the new parents. Now it's time to make some savvy money moves. Get ready because in today's video, we're going to be looking at some tailored specific advice just for you. Stay tuned to ensure your baby's future is happy and financially secure. This is where we're trying to make parenting and financials come together perfectly. When you bring that new baby home, there are a lot of firsts that you're going to experience, from the coos to the talking to the walking to the crawling. Over the first couple of years, guys, not only are you going to experience a lot of firsts, but you are also going to experience a lot of financial firsts. Now, when it comes to bringing home that bundle of joy, it is roughly $12,000 to $14,000 on average per year, which has to be allocated in that budget. When you look, what does that make up? That is fine-tuning the budget, which is the first thing we look at, guys. When you look at your cash flow, when you look at the income you're getting, this really goes up front, and the medical expenses that you're going to have. When you look at medical bills, when you look at hospital stays, clothing, nursery, baby gear, when you start looking at formula, bottles, diapers, wipes, there's a lot of stuff that comes with the bundle of joy, which again can have the price tag of $12,000 to $14,000, which can have a huge impact on your budget. Now's the time, guys, when you want to sit down, and I know you've been fine-tuning it kind of month to month, knowing exactly the expenses, but now probably one of the biggest expenses of your life has now entered your life, which means, again, you need to cut back on unnecessary expenses. When you start getting into the needs and wants category, paying down debt, eliminating debt, getting back into, hey, what are the needs? Really looking at some of the wants, maybe even eliminating some of the wants, some of the subscriptions, some of the memberships, to really, again, kind of fine tune that budget to realize the added expense that you have. Now, in addition to most people that are on maternity leave, paternity leave, things of that nature, you might also be getting a retroactive or less than ideal salary. Sometimes most places in America, they give you about 80% of your salary when you go on maternity or paternity leave, which means not only is your budget going to take a hit because now you have a little one in the picture, but the budget also takes a hit because your income is drastically reduced. Now, first thing we look at, guys, buying life insurance. Suddenly have somebody else in your life. This is really the place, guys, where life insurance will come in and you can set your family up forever. God forbid something happens that is horrible within your life. Life insurance will not only protect the new child, it'll protect the parents, especially if you're in a home that only has one income, guys. You have to make sure life insurance, if it's employer sponsored, I do like that idea, but buying life insurance outside of it is incredibly cheap depending on your age. If you're in 20s and you're in 30s, 20, 30-year policies are incredibly cheap. A lot of people avoid them because, God forbid, they don't want to think about it. They don't want to think about the unforeseen. However, like they've always said, guys, you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If something does happen, you could set your child up for the rest of your life. You could set up the spouse for the rest of your life, or literally something that you could work in your budget that is going to make a difference. Again, God forbid something should happen. Second one, it is time for the college savings plan. When we talk about compounding interest, when we talk about 529 plans, it is a tax advantage account that you have to start. And the earlier you start this, guys, it is $1.53 trillion in student loans that America has alone, which is just insane. It is absolutely insane that we carry that kind of debt in student loans. But not only with 529 plans, you can also use them for school, but you can also use them for qualified expenses, college tuition, fees, books, room and board, transferable. A lot of 529 plans, do your research, guys, but a lot of them are transferable to other kids. If they're not used for school, they can actually be a tax account for you, a retirement account for you. There are so many different ways, guys, that you can spend this with the 529 plan. It makes a huge difference. If day one, you get that social security number, you get that 529 plan started, you start putting money in, you have 18 years, 17 to 18 years, depending on exactly when you're starting this, guys, to really stack up the money you have in that 529 plan, making sure that college is paid for. General rule that we use here, guys, is 33% of a college tuition or college expense comes from the parents, 33% from scholarships and grants, the final 33% in student loans. Right now, in practice, in theory, we see about 70 to 80% coming from student loans, which again amounts to the $1.53 trillion that we have. This is also the time, guys, number 3, to fund other accounts. When you think of flexible savings accounts, when you think of FSA accounts, when you look at accounts that are going to give you benefits, tax advantage benefits, FSA is a really good example. If you can get HSA accounts, which you do have to qualify for high deductible healthcare plans, this is the time to stack up your tax-free savings that you're going to get in there, guys, because again, having a child, being a new parent, you're going to use the money. When it comes to everything that you can buy, covering out-of-pocket medical expenses, co-pays, deductibles, drugs, doctor's doctor's visits, you have well check visits, even looking at daycare, summer camp. There are a plethora of things that they use. Not only will you be spending the money anyways, is putting it into some of these tax advantage accounts like an FSA or an HSA. You can actually get a tax deduction, so you're paying much less for things that you are already going to be paying for. And the final one, guys, when it starts getting into parents, you have to start looking at trusts, you have to look at wills, and you have to look at power of attorneys, because again, unforeseen things do happen in life, guys. It is the time to really update your paperwork, ensuring that the parents' money and assets are going to the child versus going somewhere else. If it is trusted money, if it is, willing it to a guardian, making sure beneficiaries are updated. Now, again, with me personally working in the financial services industry, working at a credit union, a lot of times we do not see beneficiaries on accounts, which is a massive, if your beneficiaries are your kids, if the beneficiaries are your spouse, if they're not joint, it is going to be an incredibly difficult and a lot of hurdles to get through to get access to that money when your family could spend their time grieving. If there's a loss, if there's something that happens medically, where there is a need, you have to make sure that you have everything covered. And I cannot stress this, as much as we, again, don't like to talk about death, don't like to talk about taxes, don't like to talk about finances, it is something that we have to get away from the norms, and we have to get into being able to talk about it openly. When you're having aging parents, what is going to be their plan? When they are now grandparents in the situation, what are their plans? What are they going to do? Are they going to help cover for college? Are they going to put money into, those 529 plans in lieu of buying someone gifts, instead of buying them toys, instead of buying them books, clothes, things of that nature? They can put money into a 529 plan, which of course is going to cover the education for their grandchildren one day. There are a lot of things to think about. Again, you have to look at it big picture, and don't just plan for today. You also have to plan for 5, 10, 15, 18 years down the road. What if they want to go to college? What if they get accepted at Harvard, at Yale, at, Ivy League schools that have astronomical bills that are attached to it? How are you going to cover the cost? How are you going to pay for it? And again, looking at the budget. This, again, I cannot stress, is one of the absolute biggest things that people overlook. All of a sudden, you have a little one, you have a much higher expense that is coming in the house. How are you allocating the expenses for it? Is it you're just going to run it up on credit cards and continue borrowing until you cannot borrow anymore, or it gets to the point where you're so far in debt, now it is really affecting your well-being. You're not in a very good financial place. You're not in a very good mental health space because you owe an exorbitant amount in money because, again, you did not budget properly. Sorry, guys. So that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the smart financial moves for new parents, guys. This is something that is very, very important. Again, the estimated cost is $12,000 to $14,000 per year to raise one child. So if you had twins, if you have triplets, if you have 2 or more in diapers, get ready, guys. The balance or the cost is their infants and these newborns. So again, guys, that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.